Okay. Welcome to Meditation Secrets. It's Meditation Monday. Another Meditation Monday is here. I'm so happy to see you guys all. And today we are having Clint Baggett is going to be co-hosting this particular episode. We've got lots of exciting questions. A lot of you sent quite a few questions, actually. So we've got lots of content to go over. So why don't we, I'm just going to quickly, I just want to acknowledge all of you who are here right now. So why don't we go through a quick, and I just want to say hi and hello, see where everyone is tuning in from. First person on top there is Terry.
Hello.
For those who don't know you, where are you tuning in from?
Sending aloha from Maui.
Aloha. I love the word aloha, breath of spirit in Hawaiian. Thank you for tuning in, my dear friend and gem, Terry. We have next Michael Cerciello. Michael, where are you tuning in from?
I'm tuning in from Atlanta.
Atlanta, the beautiful state of Georgia. Oh my gosh, such a green state, similar to Hawaii. Very, very green, lots of beautiful trees. Thank you for joining us here today, Michael.
Thank you for letting me in.
Yes, yes, yes. And then we've got next Cindy. Cindy Blaenberg-McCrea. Cindy, where are you tuning in from?
From Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Oh, my fellow Canadian. I'm part Canadian as well. So I'm so glad and happy to have you here, Cindy. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Great, great, great. And next we have, oh, it looks like we've got a duplication of Michael here. Then we have Sylvia Aguiar. I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Yes. Hi.
Wonderful.
Hello from New York City.
New York City?
Yep.
Oh, the beautiful New York City. That's wonderful. My dad's family is all from New York. So I have a special fondness for New York. Still have tons of family there. That's wonderful, Sylvia. Okay, let me see. Do I have, oh, there's two more people coming in. Let's see. Oh, we have three more people coming in. I think they're starting to come in. Let's see. So who else do we have next? See if I can get this thing to, okay, the next person I'm showing on here is Ponjesi. Is that how you say your name, Ponjesi?
Yeah.
Ponjesi, where are you tuning in from?
From Fiji.
From Fiji. Oh my gosh. You have no idea. That is on my list of places to go. Well, thank you for tuning in from the beautiful island of Fiji. I hope to see you someday soon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And then next we have Ravi Kran. Is that correct? I hope I said your name correct. Ravi?
Hi, good evening. You can call me Ravi. That's fine.
Ravi.
Yep.
Where are you tuning in from, Ravi?
Mumbai, India.
Mumbai, India. Oh my gosh. Believe it or not, my son is going to, I don't know where in India, but he's going to India tomorrow and he'll be there till the end of the month.
Wow. So, if he's in Mumbai, definitely we will catch up.
Well, and he's going to a wedding. So he is very excited. It'll be his first time ever going to India. I think it's the first time anyone in our family goes to India. So I think that's going to be very exciting. Thank you for joining us here today. Who else do we have? I think we've greeted everybody. If I haven't greeted you, I'm trying to look at the list here. Yeah, I think I have everyone. And then we have the one and only, the brilliant Clint Baggett. Clint.
Hey there, how you doing?
Hey, would you tell everyone where you're at right now?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
You're in Phoenix, Arizona. Less than 4 days ago, he was actually in the UK. We're so happy and excited to have him back on American soil.
yeah, it was definitely, it's nice. The flight's long and a little bit tiresome, but it's It's wonderful over there. It's really a great experience, I think, to get to go see places with like such rich history and like the buildings and stuff like that. I love it. The landscape's beautiful. The people are nice, friendly. It's good. It's good times.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Very good thing. Well, we're going to get started here. I want to make a quick little announcement because some of you know, some of you don't know, but I'm going to be leaving to go to Costa Rica tomorrow, and I will be gone till the end of the month. I'll be back on the 1st of June. That's when I fly back. So I will be resuming the Meditation Secrets, but Clint is going to be co-hosting today. So we'll both be answering these questions that you guys have submitted. And so he'll be hosting this every Monday moving forward. So as you guys, most of you already are familiar with him and know him from our 5-week series of grid work, which we're still getting an amazing amount of feedback from that. Because if you work it and you just do the simple, even a simple little like 9-word grid where you do 3, 3, and 3, it's amazing the power of your being able to program yourself in a written meditation. So I'm so excited to have you here again, Clint. So we are going to dive in deep, and let me do a share screen so you guys can see all the questions that we have regarding grid work. So can everybody see the screen for grid work?
Yep, it's up.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm trying to figure out where do I put some of these controls so that I can still not cover my screen and see what we got going on here. So I'm going to put this a little down here. All righty. So the first question. So we're going to, Michael, just to make it, well, Michael is the person who's asking the question. So Clint, just to make it fun and exciting, how about if I read one question and then you read the next one?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so that we're kind of ham and egging it. Oh, we got someone else coming in. Jesse, I think it is. Perhaps they fell off of the communication here. So the first question is from Michael, and he asks, he says, I've been in a relationship with someone for 2.5 years, and I can see it's not going to work, and it makes me sad, but I know I need to pull out, and I don't have all the strength I need right now. What do you suggest? So my reply, I try as often as I can. Sometimes in the Facebook groups, I'll reply directly there. And other times I will reserve to answering it specifically on here because it's like this is a very very common question that I get. And so my answer is set the intention with the divine that the divine will bring you. And please bear in mind that the word divine is interchangeable with the word God, with the word the universe, the creator, the great I am, infinite source intelligence, whatever your label, whatever the name that you're comfortable with that acknowledges that power that is greater than you, that created you, which is why you're here in flesh and blood. So set the intention that the divine will bring you a clear answer, and then apply the formula. And the formula, as Dr. Joe teaches it, is I've actually written down the formula. I've never actually seen it written down this way. You have to read his books, and in the books, it's at great length. But I actually wrote this down, for myself because I had so many people asking me questions. So I just have this little 7-bullet explanation of what the formula is. So the first step is that you're going to close your eyes. And first, before you're closing your eyes, you're setting that intention. And I want to be very crystal clear that an intention is an inward attention, because sometimes people ask me, it's like, well, how do you know if you have the right intention, or what is an intention? And there's attention, attention, attention. And then there's intention, which is instead of your focus being outward with your attention being all exterior, all around you, it's inward attention. So now your focus is inside of you. Okay. So that's what an intention is. So you're going to close your eyes after you set the intention that the divine is going to supply you an answer. And you're doing that openly so that you're not making it's like, oh, I got to get an answer right now. No, you're throwing up the question, you're uploading the question, and then knowing that at any moment in time, it could be instantly, it could be during the meditation, it could be immediately as soon as you open your eyes, it could be 30 seconds after the meditation, it could be a day later, it could be a week later. Just know that their answer will come to you at the least expected time. So you're just like with eager anticipation. So then you're going to close your eyes. You're going to roll your eyeballs up to your eyebrow area. So your eyes are up like this, and then you close them, because that automatically is the lever to put your brain into theta state. Then you're going to slow down your breath, slow down your heart rate, slow down your brain waves. And then the sixth one is your clear intention is you're going to have in your mind's eye, because it's kind of like you have a little video going on inside your imagination. So you're just, for those of you who go, oh, I can't imagine, or I don't visualize, well, forget about that. Just play, pretend, and make believe that you're seeing a movie from your perspective through your own eyes, and see the end result of what you would like to have as your target, your goal, or whatever your dream is. Those three words are interchangeable. Some people like the word target. Some people love the word dream. Some people like the word goals. They all mean the same thing. So pick the word that you like the best, and it's the end result that you're going to put in your mind's eye. So keep in your mind's eye the end result of what you want. It's like a little mini video that you're playing. That's, however, it doesn't matter how long it is. You get to choose. This is your show, your game. This is your creation. This is your manifestation, because it is a manifestation. A manifestation is a creation, and vice versa. So, and then in that little video that you see yourself experiencing the end result of what it is that you want, you're going to feel the joy, the exhilaration, the fun, the laughter. Because when you get what you want, you're like joyous, you're happy, you're excited, you're thrilled, you're like high energy, you're like, yeah, I got this, right? And it's like, yay, I'm victorious. So allow yourself permission to feel that. Remember the last time that you won, maybe you were, I don't know, maybe you played basketball in high school and your team won and you're like all going, yeah. Tap into the energy of your victory, during that game. Or maybe you're at the Super Bowl this year, maybe your team won and you were like, yeah, they won. So just tap into that energy of joy, it's a high vibrational energy, which is actually higher than love, because love is the lowest base emotion that you're able to feel and still manifest. But when you go above love and you're feeling joy, exhilaration, bliss, enlightenment, etc., laughter, exhilaration, euphoria, nirvana. Those are elevated emotions that it's like fuel to the fire so that it happens even faster. Okay. And then always wrap that, like once you're like, yeah, this is like awesome. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did it. I mean, use the same languaging pattern. That's what I do. Every time I'm going to manifest something, I'm like, yes, I did it. And I actually do left, right, left. That's like, it's telling my brain and my body, it's like, oh, whenever she does this, that means that she like scored big time. She won. She did it again. So I'm signaling my body, it's state control. It's going, oh, she won again. So now your body and your brain are going, oh, we got to catch up to that image that was in our mind, because apparently that happened already. So that's how you're magnetizing so that things happen to you faster. The last part I put here, if you're nervous, anxious, etc., if you have any kind of negative thought, feeling, or emotion, or if you're just feeling low energy, then I encourage you to do the PSMO. You guys are all familiar with Love and Money Secrets TV, this YouTube channel. You can go there, or if you go to my Facebook page and just put PSMO method in the top right-hand corner in the search of my Facebook page, the PSMO method will show up there. Click the link, you can watch it. It just takes 3 minutes to do the PSMO, and boom, you'll immediately resolve and dissolve any negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, any anxiety, any nervousness, any panic attacks that you might have that were coming on. All of that will immediately be knocked out. And simultaneously, your energy will be boosted. So you could always start off with the PSMO. If anxiety PTSD, panic attacks are part of your normal everyday struggle, you may want to consider doing the PSMO every morning. It's what I do. Oh, we got another person coming in, Lauren. And you may want to do that every morning as part of your morning routine to make sure you have a happy, positive, anxious-free, carefree, negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions free, so that you're in a good state of being, so that you're in a happy, elevated state of being. So you can do that before every meditation if you'd like. It's up to you. Okay. So the next question is here, Clint.
May I interrupt you for a few seconds?
Sure.
Hi, this is Ravi. How long this session will be? I have a pre-scheduled meeting in next 15 minutes. I just don't want to miss this session. So how long this session will be?
These meditation secrets always go a minimum of an hour. The shortest we've done is an hour. The longest we've done is 2. I'd say, but usually they're about 90 minutes. They're usually about an hour and a half. But you can catch the replay.
Do you upload replay somewhere where I can?
Yes, in the Meditation Secrets group, you'll see the link there. So where you got the Zoom link, you'll be able to look there for not only this replay. If you subscribe to Love and Money Secrets TV, then you'll automatically see it. It'll be the most recent upload, because as soon as this is done tonight, it's automatically uploaded, because we're simulcasting to YouTube right now. So you'll be able to watch it right away.
And that will be wonderful. And do we have the meditation session in this 1 hour or no? Or we are just discussing?
We sometimes do meditations yes. So sometimes we do meditations in this Meditation Secrets class. So we sprinkle it up between Q&As and both Q&A and a meditation, or sometimes just Q&A. It depends. Like this week we have a lot of questions. So today we're not going to have a meditation. It's up to Clint moving forward in the month of May. If he chooses to do a meditation, he may, or, it's up to him, because he's going to be the boss running this for the next 4 weeks, every Monday. So
in the past replays, I will be able to find the meditation and I can go through it, right? In the past replays.
Oh, yes. On the replay, you'll be able to watch whatever the meditation is. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ravi, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Clint, do you want to go ahead and read this next question?
Yeah, definitely. So the question it says, oops, hold on, there we go. Let me move my my camera windows. Perfect. All right. It says, I was wondering if you can clear up a few things for me concerning meditation. It says, when Joe, and I'm assuming that's Dr. Joe there, when Dr. Joe says, sense the space around something, do you visualize it? I've heard him say you don't visualize it, so I'm not sure how to do it. And then, okay, so that's the question there on that one. Lillian, do you want me to take a shot at this, or?
Go ahead, you go ahead. I think it's valuable for us both to give our input on this, so go ahead.
Yeah, so for whoever asked the question, and for anyone who has a similar question, it's I think a little different for all of us. So what do we consider visualization, right? And so that term seems really specific, but sometimes in our actual practice, it can be different for all of us. So I know for me, when I think about sensing the space around, there is an imagining, right? I'm imagining that space around my head or my chest, or imagining the space. And sometimes that does produce kind of like visual images. I get kind of a picture of like, what a bubble around me might look like, and things like that, so you're sensing the space, but you're reaching out and connecting, whether that's through the hot and the warm on your skin, or the organs moving inside you, or the air around you, or the breeze, you know what I mean? How you reach out and how your body starts to sense is up to your DNA and your biology and your dynamic. So if there's an element of visualization that is helping you achieve that, then work with that, right? And that sense will develop and grow. Yeah, that would be my advice.
So I would say ditto. Yeah, everything that Clint said is exactly spot on. And I know people have issues with the words, because words mean what we make them mean. And so to visualize means to use your vision, right? And then to imagine is that creative sensory visual perception inside your head. And so some people will say it's like, well, I can't visualize, or I don't have any imagination. So I, for those of you who do think that, I want you to just take a moment, and I want you to remember remember you waking up yesterday morning. Remember something about what you did yesterday. So now that you've thought about something that you did yesterday, I want you to realize and recognize that you are using your internal visualization and imagination, and you're actually seeing images. And that's what imagination and that's what visualization is. You
Yeah.
cannot have a memory without an image, without some sort of vision. And so that's all you're doing here. Now, I remember when I first started doing, for years I meditated and I never did guided meditations until I did Dr. Joe's work, which that was back in 2019. And I remember when he first said the word space, for me, I automatically assumed that it meant outer space. So that's what I used at the beginning. And believe it or not, it worked for me. It didn't matter. And then it wasn't till I think maybe the third or fourth day into the first week-long event that I went to that I actually heard him specifically say that no, he doesn't mean like outer space as in the planets and the stars and all of that. He means the space all the way around us. So it's the black, the black velvet void, which means just the space inside your mind's eye, which is unlimited and it's vast. Now, I laughed when I said the black velvet void because I have come across people who, they have an issue with the word black velvet void. They don't like to think of the black color. So if in that space for you, the black color is too scary and it gives you a negative feeling and it doesn't feel good to you, make it the white velvet void. It doesn't matter. This is your practice. For me, my instincts tell me that everybody, when you close your eyes, the first thing you see is darkness. It's dark. It's the black velvet void without you even efforting, even though I can kind of see a little bit of light through my eyelids and there is a little sensation of light, but it's completely dark as opposed to having my eyes open. So this is your practice. You know you. If you feel better imagining that space, that big infinite void being black or white, it doesn't matter. If you want it to be purple, if you want it to be indigo blue, if you want it to be green, if you want it to be yellow, if you want it to be fairy dust pink, if you want it to be bubblegum like teal, doesn't matter. It's your practice. The number one, don't get caught up with the color. It's sensing the eternal aspect, the infinite aspect of as you, if I just think about this for a second, like right now we are sitting wherever we're sitting, we're all over the world, quite literally, each and every one of us. And we're sitting, for the most part, I think everybody's sitting on a chair. And where we are sitting, we happen to be on planet Earth, right? And that planet Earth happens to be a little speck of dirt in outer space. But we're still sitting down here, like we are, our perspective is right now in this 3D reality where I see you, you see me, right? But the truth is we are sitting in an enormous, vast, eternal void in this space continuum that we call the universe. Some people call it the multiverse. Really doesn't matter, but there's no end. If we were to go from Earth, top to bottom, or any direction, and just go to see where this ends, it doesn't end. It's infinite. And so that's the point. If you as above, so below. So as we're looking on the outside, if you go into the inside, in your imagination, that is an infinite space of being. That is where everything is created, is in that void. That's like the 0 point of the inception, the genesis, the beginning of the all. And that's why he brings us to that place of being in space, because every day we're more separate, where our perception is that we are separate from everything and everyone. But once you go into that space of that void, then you allow light to come into your body and you literally become lighter, less dense, and then you're able to mold the clay.
Yeah. So, Lillian, too, while you were saying that, I was thinking, talking about both visualization and that imagination, perceiving the void and all the, there's also even another technique too, to help with the question specifically of how do I kind of find my centers and feel the space around them. One thing that helped me when I was looking for and trying to feel the space of my sixth center, right, was actually just to reach back and touch my head where it would be roughly, and then close my eyes so I'm not seeing, and then just pay attention to that feeling, right? And that's something, you can do is you can touch. You can also, like if you're working with your lower energy centers, right, you can just contract the muscles that would be near that, right? And then what do those muscles feel like? And that's a way to kind of get yourself oriented to focusing and feeling that physical space as well.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, because especially, Dr. Joe loves the blessing of the energy centers, the BOTEC meditations. So BOTEC stands for blessing of the energy centers. And so you're focusing on the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and then the eighth. And at the beginning, I remember when I started doing these particular meditations, I didn't feel anything necessarily in my pineal gland. But then over time, I started noticing, oh my gosh, that area gets so hot when I'm meditating. And that's a common thing. I don't really remember at my first event hearing anybody talk about that. But maybe about a year into these type of meditations, added to my toolbox, I started noticing other people mentioning that too, where it's like you feel heat, or sometimes you just feel heat and pressure, where it's like kind of an unusual feeling. You're like, okay, something's going on with my pineal gland. And at first it's surprising. And then
it's like, I call it to me, the first time I felt it really intensely, I was so surprised by it. I was like, what is this? Because I was like, it feels like there's a beam of light, like shooting out of my head, right? And it was warm, and there was a little bit of pressure there. It was an interesting sensation, not uncomfortable, but just like, wow, what is that?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe, because it's definitely a change in temperature, and then it's pressure, but it's not like a headache type pressure. It's kind of but it's definitely, I don't know, like a void, or it's definitely a change in pressure where you can definitely feel that it's so obvious where it is. So you're like, wow, that's like my pineal gland. That's definitely my pineal gland. And so, so it is what it is. It will happen. It happens. Nobody has to do anything other than continue to do the practice of meditating every day. And it will automatically happen to you when it's supposed to. You'll become aware of it. Part of it is, I think, depending on as you heal things in your body and you don't have certain pains, then your body can become more aware of, I'm going to call these more pleasant sensations, because your attention's not being pulled by pain.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing that kind of happens as well. So let's go to the next question. And the next person says here, when he says rest your awareness, does he mean to visualize? So this is one that I've never had anybody ask before. And so when he tells me to rest my awareness, to me, that means that, let's say, depending on if he's saying, let's say that he's told us, to bring our attention to our fourth energy center, which is our heart. And he tells us next, rest your awareness, in your heart, in the space around your heart, in this, et cetera, et cetera. So all you're doing is taking your awareness, which is your focus. You're using your free will to focus it in that specific area that he's guiding you to. So sometimes it's the feeling of being inside the heart, then it's the heart itself, the space around your heart that's inside your body, and then the space that's around your heart, which is outside of your body. And so it's just your focus. Wherever you're focusing, that's where your consciousness is resting. So can you add anything to that, Clint?
No, I think you said it really well. It's just, resting, not moving, right? So bring your attention to a space and then allow that. And there's so many things that are happening. One is wherever you focus your attention, right? You are you're building that conscious energy inside your body, right? When you're resting your awareness or not moving it or allowing it to stay in the same space, you're focusing, like you said. And there is a practice there that, I think, for me, I know when I was even first just doing mindfulness or trying to rest awareness on anything, like it just felt like my mind was just, tattered with so many different thoughts trying to pull my attention away. That happens too, right? Like, but it's that practice of it, right? So look, I'm going to just take 2 or 3 minutes and I'm going to focus on this one area or one thing or one subject, the sound of a fan or, a light, a can, whatever it is that you want to focus on. And when your mind gets pulled away, it's okay, right? That's the normal behavior that's been happening. The practice is to return to that. But there's also, when you're thinking about manifesting, we're wanting to raise our elevation, right? If your mind gets carried away into a pleasant thought, if you're resting your focus on your heart and all of a sudden you just feel love and the thoughts that come to you feel like love, I would say just roll with them, right? Because that is the signal that is sending out to you, and your mind is interpreting that good signal by producing images and thoughts and drawing, imaginations and daydreams and visions to you that are pleasant and happy, and those are good for your body. That is a signal that your mind is working in a really healthy, good way. So definitely don't punish yourself for that, especially if they're good. And you know what? Enjoy the good thought while it's there, and when it passes, go, oh yeah, I was focusing on my heart, and just come right back and keep practicing.
Yes, that's a brilliant point, Clint. I'm so glad that you pointed that out, because some people think that in meditation, you're supposed to clear your mind of all thoughts and think of zero. And that's not true. If you're having negative thoughts, you want to hold those thoughts captive and set them aside. And it's go, ego, nope. Time out, brain, do as I say. And then you focus back on your heart. And then as you have positive thoughts, feelings, and emotions, you have wondrous, unusual, mysterious sensations. You have feelings of increased love, any positive kind of alluring, fun, magical things like Clint was saying, just roll with it. Because that means that you're conditioning your body now to a new mind. You're having all the good stuff is coming in. That's what you want. So just allow it to be. And then when it dissipates away, if it dissipates away, then focus back on that organ of the heart again. So very well said, Clint. Thank you so much for bringing that point up, because oftentimes that sometimes can be a stumbling block for people.
Absolutely.
The next one is, I think it's your turn to read the next one.
Okay. Question here says, when he, again, assuming Dr. Joe, when he tells you to sense the volume of space of something in space, do you picture that thing in space? Yeah, so again, what are we talking about with the space? There is that kind of, when you hear space, you want to go to outer space, but I believe that what he's talking about is literally the volume of the space around you. So, if you're in a room, that room is a space. Wherever you're sitting, there's an area that's around you that is that space. So, when he's saying, since that volume of space of, of whatever it is in space, I believe it is the localized area around that, and there's something you were talking about the void a minute ago, and people, Lillian, sometimes being uncomfortable with that, a really interesting aspect to the universe when you think about quantum theory and everything is that everything's energy, right? All the mass around us is energy, just vibrating in such a way and with conscious awareness on it that it becomes physical in form, right? But at the root of all things, it is all energy. And when we think about what we call the void of space, we call it void because there's no mass that is detectable in between our planets that we can feel and palpate to a reasonable level. There's dust and debris and asteroids and everything floating out there, but there's still energy. There's vibrations, there's cosmic radiation, there's gamma radiation, there's all of this energy that's filling up that space in between us. And all of that has the potential to change frequency. And in essence is the same building blocks that create mass. So, the void of space isn't just a void, it is full of life and energy and power and connectivity. So, when we think about the space around us, right? Around your head, you have oxygen molecules, and you have, there's nitrogen in there, and there's all of this energy, and there is, mass and atmosphere around the spaces around us. So, you can, for me, that's what I like to visualize is just kind of taking in everything, and connecting them, connecting to the air, I'm connecting to the chair I'm sitting in, I'm connecting to all of the space around me and anything that occupies that space.
Yeah, I think that's a very great point, Clint, that you are bringing our attention to, is the fact that, yeah, there's energy all around us. It's obviously inside of us, but the space that we're sitting in, all the air, even though we can't see the air, yeah, there's electricity and, there's electrons on every type of molecule. So oxygen has it, nitrogen, carbon dioxide has it. So it's all around us. And so that's part of what we're tapping into, is that space of energy, so that you're directing the energy to whatever your clear intention is.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Clint, for that. Our next question is, Dr. Joe says, can you feel the energy in space? Feeling is in the 5 senses. So again, I'm a little confused. Would you clarify? So this, I feel, no pun intended, but I do feel that when he says feel the energy in space, he's just asking you to use the instrument of your body to feel the energy in space. However it is that you interpret the feeling, you may feel vibrations in your ears, you may feel like an electrical feeling in your body, or maybe a buzzy feeling in your body, or maybe you feel like energy moving up and down your body. Maybe you'll get the chills, maybe you'll get like goosebumps. There's no, it's like there's no right or wrong. So however you're feeling or sensing the space of that energy, and even if you don't feel anything, know that something is still happening. Last week, we were just in the Intuition Manifesto Masterclass, we were talking about how there was a particular doctor where she had a control group, and there was like advanced and novice meditators. And 50% of them, when they were watching them go from, alpha to theta to gamma brainwave state, all of them, novice and experienced, they all went at the same point in time during this meditation, they all went into this theta gamma brainwave state. And so all of them, the brain frequency immediately shot up. So they were all having this pretty amazing experience. And 50% of them, when the scientists said, it's like, what was happening, at this point, they're like, oh man, I was feeling, like there were like fireworks going off in my head, or I was seeing all these colors or these fractal patterns, or I was having this buzzing sensation going up, and everybody had a different description. And that was 50% of the group. The other 50% of the group said, really? I was in gamma? Oh my gosh, I wasn't even sure if I was doing it right. I was wondering if I was doing it right. I was just still following the meditation and kind of wondering, gosh, I hope I'm doing this right. And am I even doing this right? So I didn't feel anything. So know that even when you don't sense or you don't feel with your body like anything, because I have meditations where nothing spectacular seems to happen. I have other meditations where these amazing mystical things happen, but I have many where it's like, it's very non-eventful. And the only benefit I feel I'm getting is this profound sense of peace. That doesn't mean that I didn't go into gamma. I just, for whatever reason, didn't sense it. Your body is chemistry. It's like, you can kind of visualize like inside your body, like all these little vials, and you have them, they're like little chemistry tubes, and they all have different varying amounts of liquid, and the liquids are being constantly filled up, and some of it evaporates, some of it spills out, but it's never static. It's never like they're all filled up, they're all empty. No, they're always moving, they're always changing the proportions, the percentages, even the evaporation rates, the refill rates, it's all changing all the time. So some meditations, you're going to feel incredible things. And then other times you're not going to feel hardly anything. And so, and it's all fine. Just know that even when you don't think anything happened and it was just calm, it was just a sense of serenity and peace, know that there's a whole lot more going on biochemically, and in all sorts of other different levels. So never discount your meditations, and there's no such thing as a bad meditation. You will benefit from 100% of the meditations that you do. That's like, you can take that to the bank, and that's backed by research because it's been measured over and over and over again. Okay. So I hope I don't know if the person who asked this question is on this call, but feeling is in the 5 senses. So yeah, don't get so caught up with it having to be visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, kinesthetic. It's just whatever feeling your body. If you didn't have a body, you wouldn't be able to interpret, visual, like vision versus hearing versus smelling versus tasting versus feeling with your hands or having gut feelings. It's because you have this body. This body is for you to interpret vibrations. Without a body, you would not be able to taste chocolate if you were just a soul or just an energy spirit. But because you have a body, you can drink an awesome caramel latte at Starbucks, or you can drink, you can have a piece of delicious Godiva chocolate because your tongue can interpret the vibrational frequency of chocolate and so forth. So I hope I answered that. And Clint and I hopefully.
Yeah, I think you touched on a lot of really good things. I was, as you were talking there, I was kind of thinking about it too. And, if one thing I've asked people to do sometimes is like wiggle your toes in your shoes or your feet, wherever they're at right now. And now most likely you're not looking at them, right? But you can feel your toes moving, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a combination of, muscular movement, maybe rubbing socks or across the edges of your shoes or the carpet or floor, wherever you're at, but the perception that you're having without seeing it, feeling it, and being aware that it is there is energy, right? It is the energy of it. And so as you kind of move through your body positions and, you think and you feel, that's why you can trigger those muscles and feel that kind of energy. What Dr. Joe talks about in his teachings is getting us to move from a really focused place into a broader focus, because it gets us out of our hyper-focused states of mind, right? So it gets us to general states of mind. This can be true when you're trying to solve like I think one of the first questions someone was asking about kind of in relationship things, right? And for me, sometimes if we're focused on too many of the details of something, we can get kind of stuck there. And it's better if we can pull back and think, well, what am I looking for? What is the feeling I want, right? So if we're having trouble getting negative emotions away from a topic, you have to kind of back out and get general with it. And you get general with that topic until you can start to experience something that feels better. And then from that place of feeling better, you spend time in that feeling better, and the thoughts that will come will bring you back to the specifics in a new light where it feels better to feel that way. And so I always felt like, at least for me, what Dr. Joe was getting at when he's talking about feeling that energy is learning how to just kind of break your focus away from only a single point of interest into a space, into an environment, and feel all the energy. Maybe it's, if you're thinking of your neck, right, and you're expanding it out and you're wanting to feel the space, maybe that includes your shoulders a little bit too. And, maybe that's your jawline, and you can kind of think in the space. And so in a sense, I think whether you're visualizing or you're using actual, feeling, touching to help you expand that, it's the expanding of your mind that is the goal, right? So use the techniques that are working for you. And if they're not working for you, then, try something a little bit different.
Yeah. I think that was an excellent point. Thank you so much, Clint. Do you want to read the next one?
Sure. Let's see. Okay. It says, hello, I'm Miriam from Tunisia. So hello, Miriam. I'd like to persist in doing the work. As soon as the opportunity begins to appear, I destroy and stop everything. I want to know how to get back to flow. So I'm going to read that again just to make sure I understand. So it says, I would like to persist in doing the work. So I'd like to continue or move forward in doing this work. And then it says, but it says, as soon as the opportunity begins to appear, I'm assuming when we're talking about moving forward and continuing to do well, I destroy and stop everything. So it's kind of like, it sounds like this Miriam might be experiencing a little bit of just, sometimes when we start to move, we stop and we get a little bit nervous about it, or it feels like we cut ourselves off from it. And so the question says, I want to know how to get back into the flow. I personally, I think experienced this a lot, you know what I mean? I would start to meditate and things would feel really good, or I would feel like even outside of meditation and just my day-to-day life and interactions, sometimes things would get to go moving good. And my brain would start to bring in thoughts, old patterns of, I'm not worthy, or I'm guilty, or you don't deserve this, or this will never work, or all of the failures, that I had collected mentally as my armor kind of to protect me from reoccurrence of those same things had now become this cage that I was living in, right? And so we can get caged up by those past experiences, but the desire in us is to move beyond that, right? And if that's what your desire is, that is what you're going to do. What you have to do is learn how to, potentially release that. I don't know specifically what it is that's stopping or blocking, but typically there's either there's a thought or a fear or a doubt or some kind of, belief that you're actually implying upon yourself at some level, and it doesn't always feel that way. Sometimes I've had to search really, and I'm like, because you don't want to think that you would do anything to stop yourself or cut yourself off from these things, but sometimes we do. It wasn't intentional, but we get into these patterns. And so as we continue to do the work, and I love that the question starts out with like, I'd like to persist in doing the work, which means you're dedicated, you want to try this, you want to keep after it. And that is the best thing you can do, is get yourself to those places where you're feeling the way you want to feel and hold it as long as you can. And if you lose your grip on it, it's okay, because you got there once, you can get there again. And the more you practice it, the easier it will become. And the more you practice it, the more you'll become accustomed to it. You become stronger in that emotion. And typically, sometimes without even having to go and find out what that belief is or where that belief came from or anything, if you just hold the presence of that emotion long enough, the belief can't exist in that presence, right? It can't make it in. It's trying to hold back, but as you grow your love and grow your faith and your heart or whatever it is that you're wanting to develop, it will break that over time. And it just, sometimes it takes time, and sometimes you just have to stay at it. Look, I'm going to love, I want to love. There's nothing that's going to stop me from love. I am love. I'll be love. I'll think love. I'll see love, whatever it takes, until whatever that thing that's trying to keep me from love can't exist in my presence.
Yeah, that's so beautifully said, Clint. And it's so true. It's like, I love the fact that she started off with, I would like to persist in doing the work. So she started with a positive. So it shows you, like you said, she's very committed to the work. But as soon as the opportunity begins, she says, I destroy and stop everything. And that is just a manifestation of ego, because our ego wants to keep us in the familiar past. So as it's so funny the way the human mind works and how our body responds to our human mind. And as you continue to meditate, because you're persistent and consistent with this right now, so you're going to get to know yourself better, and you're going to start to recognize, the moment you recognize that, oh wow, things are going better, and then all of a sudden you have a bad feeling, and now it's like you're breaking down and destroying and stopping everything. You're like, wait a minute, why am I doing that? No. I don't want this. I want to keep the opportunity moving forward. And then you go back into your meditation and you start to realize, it's like, wait a minute, that part of me that is trying to destroy and stop everything, that's self-sabotage. That's my ego. That's not the loving, the me, the true self who I am. Would never do anything to self-sabotage, would never do anything to destroy and to stop everything. The true me is only going to love, to give love and receive love, to create and expand and share that with others. And so anything that isn't that, that's wanting to destroy and stop everything, by definition is ego. It's like, wait a minute, that's my ego. Cancel. Or Dr. Joe likes to say, change. That's who I used to be. That's not who I am anymore. Now that I recognize it, And now that I realize it, I'm going to go, you know what? And you can even, if you're in meditation, or maybe you were in meditation and now you're out of meditation and now you're realizing that you're destroying and stopping everything. Now you can go, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to hit the pause button, recognize that's ego, slow down my breath. You could take just 2-3 minutes to do this. This doesn't have to take a long, you don't have to do an hour meditation for this. It's just in the moment that you're aware that it's ego disguised as you think it's you destroying it, but it's not. It's your ego wanting to destroy your progress because it doesn't want you to change. So it's screaming, going, no, I'm going to destroy and have you self-sabotage, and I'm going to stop everything. And I want you to feel bad because that's your familiar past. You're going to go, no, time out, brain, do as I say, slow down my breath, just there. Take a slow inhale and say, I'm going to slow down my breath. I'm going to slow down my heart rate. I'm going to slow down my brain waves. I'm just going to take 3. Maybe you want to take 10 deep breaths. You pick. You trust yourself. Maybe you feel I need 10 breaths, slow, deep breaths to recenter myself, and then let it go. Because now one of the things that I'm starting to have a greater awareness is about how we stretch and condense time. And every time we meditate, like if everything is like hurry, hurry, bustle, bustle, and it's like, a lot of frenetic things going on, and maybe something bad or something annoying or frustrating happens, the moment I go pause button, ego time out, brain, do as I say, slow down my breath, slow down my heart rate, slow down my brain waves, I slow down time. So I'm actually stretching out time. And by stretching out time and slowing it down, now I can get really centered. I can get crystal clear about what it is that I do want, because I don't want that other stuff. So I'm very crystal clear about what I do want. I want to be centered, heart-centered in love, and be clear about the direction that I'm going in. And by doing that, where you're slowing down time, you're simultaneously speeding up time to manifest what it is that you do want and basically delete that unwanted. It's kind of it's taken me a while to kind of like come to the point where it's not even a left brain thinking, understanding. It's kind of like a knowingness kind of integration. I don't know how to direct you to get there. All I've got to tell you is I think for everybody, it's the more you meditate, the more these realizations come. And Clint, I know we've meditated quite a bit together. Yeah. And we know that there's things that happen that you can't explain it with your intelligence. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's a lot of questions about, do I visualize, or do I do this, or how to do this and stuff, right? Start where you're at and move up, because there does come a point where you feel like you start to develop a new sense, a new way of feeling. It's kind of like you're saying, a new way. You don't know if it's left or right brain. It's just a knowing. And to me, I call this the wholeness, right? You start to function your body systems, your brain systems, your thinking systems in a new and kind of coherent pattern. And it opens up doors of perspective and understanding that are really hard to describe by anything that we've been taught in school for the past 100 years, right? Because they weren't taught in school. So it is something that you do have to experience. But the great thing is you can experience it. And, just one last thing, I think for Miriam, one thing that helped me in learning how to get past, because I recognized kind of some self-sabotaging behaviors as well, was I asked myself, well, what would it feel like if I didn't do that? What would it feel like if I just didn't self-sabotage myself, or what would it look like? What could it happen? And I would let myself imagine, like, what would that look like? And I kind of created a picture or an idea of what that would look like. And then I thought, well, how would I feel in that moment? I'd feel successful, and I'd feel happy, and I'd feel free, and I'd feel like maybe relief or overcoming, whatever word comes up, whatever you feel, right? And then practice that feeling, right? And in that feeling, because in that feeling is coded the solution to the problem that you have, right? So if you're going to find the solution, it's going to come from that space. So that's where you want to get yourself. And then the answer can come, and it can be extremely personal, and the technique can be exactly what you need it to be. in that moment.
Yeah, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, so in essence, what Clint and I are both saying is just, you ask here, I want to know how to get back in the flow. The
Yeah.
quick is the moment you realize that you're destroying or stopping everything. Even if, let's say you were meditating this morning and now it's 3 p.m. and you're in your storage unit and you're like, you can't find anything. And you're like, Dad, burn it. It's like, I can't find anything and I'm not strong enough to move this, that, or whatnot. And these doggone, dumb movers, they didn't put, you're starting to notice, the like frustration and anger and annoyance. They're not pleasant feelings. You can go pause button. Nope. That didn't feel good. Or maybe you the rest of your time at your storage is like that. And now you come home and now you're driving home and you're like, you know what? I let that stupid storage unit get the best of me. And it's just a bunch of stuff
Right.
in a unit. And it's like, there's not even it's just me. I'm just me fighting with me. Really,
Yeah.
what's happening is the loving aspect of you is kind of staying silent. And the ego part of you is going, these doggone stupid movers, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it's kind of taking the lead. And then your loving self is just going, really? It's just like going, it's because it's not going to argue with you. It's just going to go.
Yeah.
Then you leave. And then when you're in your car, you're going, man, I was just fighting with myself. Why did I do that? I should know better than that. In that moment, you're like, okay, you can pull over in your car, find a parking spot. And what I mentioned before, ego, time out, brain, do as I say, slow down your breath. And I'm going to just do 3 slow, deep breaths to center myself and to clear that out. Because I don't want that energy still like stinking up my existence. I don't want to walk around with a cloud of that icky energy around, because that's not a pleasant energy for me. And I don't want anybody to be exposed to that. That it's no different than if you were to pass gas, kind of, if you were to fart, when you fart, it's all around you, right? That's why we do it in the bathroom and then we leave the room. So we leave our own brand in that room over there because you don't want to, it's your own stuff, but you don't even want to smell it. Well, that negative energy is the same way. It's like stinky stuff.
Yeah.
This is how you clear it. It's through the breath. And doing the breath is a meditation. People think that meditation has to be guided with music and all. No, just taking that moment to quiet yourself, put your ego time out, brain time out, order it. You do as I say. You're slowing your breath for 3 breaths, 10 breaths. You pick. This is your show.
Well, I love, Lillian, what you were saying about, stretching time out by doing that, by slowing down, because really, and here's this word that we've already talked about 2 or 3 times, and then bring it back in even yet another way. You're creating space in time for yourself, right? You're creating a bubble in time to let go of that negativity, quit beating yourself up, just say, hey, you know what? And you don't have to go try to think about what was the right of it or wrong or solve it. Just stop thinking about it. Just give yourself that time, focus on your breath and create that space where you can just go, okay, who am I again? Yeah. All right. Now let me move forward from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And some people may say, it's like, well, what difference does it make? Because that's still not going to solve, the storage unit is still filled with a bunch of stuff that's not very accessible and blah, whatever the thing is, right? It's like,
Right.
Well, true and not true. True in the sense that, yeah, that storage unit is still the same. You're not in that space anymore. You've left it. And now you've done, let's say, your 10 deep breaths. Because you did your 10 deep breaths and took this moment to know yourself and to center yourself and get clear, it's like, okay, that's not the feeling that I want. When I return to that storage unit next time, I want things to go easy peasy with ease and flow, that I can find everything that I want when I want it and get what I need, get in there and out of there quickly and easily. So because you took that time to center yourself and clear this energy so that this doesn't, because as it stands, it's going to stay the same. But because you did this, now when you go back in the future, things can actually shift and change so that when you return, you don't have to repeat that experience. Your experience could be completely different. You may have 3 or 4 humans that will happen to be there at the right time, at the right place. And now they're like, oh, you know what? Let us give you a hand with that. And now it's like, did that happen? Because last time I was here, I gotta say, yeah, because you did that work, the universe goes, oh, wait a minute, she's accepting more love into her space. So guess what? We're going to give her another little sign, another little synchronicity, because that's going to be vastly different than the last time that she was there at that storage. So,
Yep.
so that's kind of how this works. It's where you put your consciousness, because now you're back into a state of love. When you're in a state of love, you don't have to work hard at anything. You are a magnet. You draw everything that you need.
Yeah, creating reality is those simple moments, right? It is so the way you describe it, right? Because it has those roll-on effects, right? So you go back to that situation in a better state of mind. You have a better experience. Now you have better programming and a better memory, and then that you can just repeat and it builds. And so, like, I think sometimes, like, we talk about creating reality, and it sounds like, a magician and he's waving his wand and stuff's appearing. Like, not exactly. Sometimes it's just a very gentle, you know what I mean, just centering of yourself, calibrating yourself to a better situation, and then you interact, and that better situation will breed a better situation, so forth and so forth, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the next one is, hello, my name is Tamara, and I'm from New York. I want to learn more about meditation to get into that space to change and where healing happens. So how do I know if I have heart and brain coherence? Love this question. So the way that you know that you have heart and brain coherence is, number one, you have to have an open heart. If you have an open heart, you're able to feel your heart. You're able to feel emotions. People who, let's say, I'm going to use myself as an example. I became the queen of having a closed heart. And I realized when I hit 40, this is really unhealthy. It's really unhealthy to have a closed heart. And it's really unhealthy to be suppressing emotions. And so for someone who, I used to be someone so sensitive where I would cry at every little thing, I went to the extreme opposite, where then even when I gave myself permission to cry, I couldn't cry. I could not release any negative emotions, any feelings of sadness, any feelings of anger. I would not allow myself to feel any of those lower negative emotions. Absolutely not. And so my heart was closed. And then I was realizing, I'm like, wow, this doesn't come without any serious consequences. If I don't fix this now, I'm going to be in, for a world of hurt. And so I decided, I have no idea even how I closed my heart. And I didn't know how to open my heart, but I knew that I had to open my heart. And then once I decided I'm going to open my heart, and then in my meditations, I would ask for guidance to my angels, to my God. I would say, please open my heart, because I know that this is, I know I need this, and I don't even know exactly what it means. And I don't know exactly how to do it, but it doesn't matter. I know that somehow when I decided to close my heart, I didn't know how to do that. And I seemed to be pretty successful at it. So I was born with an open heart. I, at some point, closed it to protect myself from not feeling pain, from not being judged, from whatever, to now I'm choosing to undo what I did. And now I'm choosing to open it. And I don't need to know how to do it. And so as you choose to open your heart, it will open, and you just focusing your energy on your heart, and just say to yourself, I choose to have an open heart. I want to have an open heart filled with love. And I want my heart to be as open as possible, to accept and to give as much love as humanly possible. And then it will happen. Then as that energy, you will actually feel energy moving in that energy center, which is amazing. And then the energy will move up from your heart center to your brain as you intend to move you have your conscious awareness on your heart center, and you move it into your brain center. The slowing down of your breath will slow down the frequency of the pulse of your brain, which is how you get into a certain level of brain coherence. If you have your eyes up, rolled up into your eyebrows, like this, then your brain's going to go into theta brainwave state, which will automatically then entrain with your heart, and then they will be in resonance with each other. I know that you can get more technical from with your engineering background. Do you want to chime in? Because I know that you're pretty experienced at meditation, and you also know a lot of the science behind this as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be glad to. So it's a really great question. And I asked myself a lot too. I was like, how do I know? How do I know that I know? Like, is there a signal? Is there some kind of response or something that would go like, yep, you got it, Clint, you did the thing, right? So what does that look for? But I'll say that early on for me, it was just kind of moving through the focusing of the energy center. So, focusing on my heart, and then, up through and learning how to focus and feel that space, and becoming familiar with the energies inside my body, as well as, working on, my state of mind, right? Because as I started to work on these learning to practice the better feeling emotions and practice feeling good, it helped me a lot to get into deeper states of emotions, because then when I would think in certain parts of my body, I would also make sure that the thoughts I were having were coherent to the kind of emotion and health and energy I wanted in that portion of my body. But I do remember specifically, imagining or visualizing, holding in my mind the space. And what I wanted to do was start to see, could I hold in my mind and be aware of the space in my heart and the space in my brain at multiple points along my energy centers, right? And so I do remember, as I was in a meditation and I was thinking about my first and my fourth and my sixth and seventh kind of bringing together, and I was trying, and I was just imagining those. It was like something clicked in my mind for me, and I could feel, it felt like the heartbeat, the energy that I had, I could feel that heartbeat pulsating in other portions of my body, and I could feel kind of the rhythm that they were synchronized, that there was synchronicity between my heart and between kind of the vibration or sensations I was having in my head, as well as in my first energy center. I felt it through my body. So without being connected to a bunch of EKGs and stuff like that could give me some kind of digital readout, to me, that is, in my experience, what I feel as brain and heart coherence is literally a palpable sensation and connectivity, right? There's a lot of rest. For me, it happens when I'm in the calmest state of mind. So a little bit into my meditation, kind of sometimes maybe past your first, guided parts where you're trying to get into that state, or however you get there. But in those calmer, more quiet states, when I'm focusing on my body and I'm focusing on both of those, that's where I can sense it. Here's another thing though to consider, is it may be happening more often than when I'm paying enough attention to sense it. Right. So, if you're wanting to develop that, if that's something you're wanting to go after, I would start with, the Botex or the blessings of the energy centers, right? And learn how to feel those spaces until you can connect and hold the presence of both of those in your mind. And you will start to perceive that harmony between the two.
Yeah, I love the fact that you mentioned about feeling, inside your brain, because I sometimes have felt where, like, normally during the day, I don't really, notice my heartbeat or so forth, or whatnot. But oftentimes in meditation, it will feel as if my heartbeat is inside my head.
Yeah.
So I know that my brain waves have obviously slowed down, because I know that the breath will automatically slow down your brain waves. But I realize that, it's kind of like in sync with my heart, but it feels like my heart is actually in my head, which sometimes I've wondered, it's like, wow, it's like, I wonder if that's a direct function of the heart energy being in the brain. Well, from a scientific perspective, yes, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're taking our energy centers from the base, the first, taking it up to the fourth, then taking it up to the sixth energy center. So yeah, we did take the energy that was in our heart, which is 10,000 times more powerful than the energy that we have in our brain. And we're literally taking that energy, and with our focus, we're bringing it up to our head. Now I'm feeling my heartbeat inside my head, but it's my brain, because your brain is always beating like your heart, but you never feel that other than in meditation. Then you do feel it because of what we're talking about. You're getting into heart and to brain coherence. So you'll sometimes hear like a thud, 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 thud. It won't be a fast beat, because the breath is automatically slowing down the frequency so that the pulses are slower, so that you're in theta. You first go into alpha, then you go into theta. Theta is about 4 to 7, 4 to 8 hertz. That's basically beats per second. And then you go into gamma, then it speeds up where it's like, a lot more, but you're not going to feel your brain beating going, because in gamma, it would be going, now you're having a mystical experience. You're not feeling your brain. Your senses are so taken up with everything that you're seeing and experiencing that you're somewhere else. But yeah, the heart and brain coherence is something that will happen. You can't keep it from happening. If you're focusing on the energy centers, 1, 4, 6, and if you're doing the slow down breath, it's inevitable. It's impossible as a clinical neurosomatic practitioner, I will tell you, it's biologically impossible for you to take a slow inhale, as slow as you can, and have your heart all of a sudden race. It's physiologically impossible. If I take a quick inhale, that will speed up my heart rate. If I take a slow inhale, automatically it will slow down my heart rate. Your breath is directly linked to the physiology and the anatomy of your heart and your brain. So as you slow down, that's why I sound like a scratch record preaching to people about doing 25 as slow as you can, long, deep breaths. There's the heart and brain coherence factor. There's also you're alkalizing your body. There's so many health benefits to this.
Yeah.
And it's free. Everybody can do this. And you don't have to wait to be sick. You could do this like I do it every day, just because it is the best insurance. It feels great, and it's the best insurance for your health and well-being. But it's also a big contributor to keeping you in heart and brain coherence.
Yes.
So
there's a technique that I used to use, kind of talking about the breath. I love what you're saying there, because it's so true. So you're right. A quick inhale does accelerate your heart rate, but as long as your exhale is longer than that inhale, your net outcome should be a heart that is beating slower, right? There was a technique that I used to use, I found years ago, called 4-7-8, where you breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, the count of 4, hold your breath for the count of 7, and then exhale slowly for 8. So this is both the holding and the exhale are longer than the inhale. So that kind of pattern will bring you. I used to use it to bring myself out of anxiety attacks, right? So I would start to feel that anxiety come on, and I would go through that technique. I could do it 4 times, and almost every time it could bring me back into a manageable state, where my body chemistry didn't kick off, and I would go into just a full-fledged panic attack. But just taking that breath in and then holding that, and then just letting it out, like it does exactly what you're saying. I was thinking, you were talking about the biological impossibilities of it in this very practical, pragmatic sense. If you're thinking about your heart, you are going to become in synchronized, because your brain is literally, the focus of your brain is into the physical, action and manifestation of your heart beating. So just in the thinking right there, you're on that pattern, you're on that path forward to create that coherence. So yeah, you're exactly right, Lillian. Slow yourself down and then just focus on it, feel it. Your body will do the rest. The universe, life wants this for you. It's why it breeds, it's why we are who we are, doing what we are, where we are, and when we are in this world today, right? The universe wants this for us. A lot of times it's just trusting it, right? Just get in there, get comfortable, and let it do its thing.
Yeah, don't let the ego convince you and deceive you to think otherwise. Because if so, then you've put the ego back as the CEO of you, and now it's bossing you around, yanking your chain and putting you on that train of pain. And you don't need that. You're like, oh, no. That's how I used to be. I used to be completely oblivious that my ego and my brain were the two cohorts in crime that were running my business, running my life by default. And I don't want to be on that train of pain anymore. So nope, you guys are demoted. I am now the boss of me. I am the CEO, the loving aspect of me. And nope, I'm going to only choose to accept, receive, and embrace those loving thoughts towards myself. I do want to say, you do have to share with everyone here. I'm very lucky I got to hear the story already, but while you were in the UK, you had an awesome outward manifestation of heart and brain coherence, which this can happen to any and all of you. So Clint had a little furry friend that crawled up his leg unexpectedly. So Clint, would you share that little story? Because that would have never happened if you weren't in heart and brain coherence. It's the only reason it happened was because you were in heart and brain coherence. Would you share with everybody that fun story?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was, I had been kind of, going through, some of the same things that we all go through. I had questions in my mind, and there was some growth opportunities I was looking for. And I was asking myself those questions. Well, what does it feel like to do this right? What does it feel like to feel the way I want to feel? And, and then in meditation there in a hotel in this little tiny town in England, all by myself one night, I'm meditating, and, I felt that inspiration come, and the ideas start to come, and I was focusing on that feeling of where I want to be. And as I was focusing there, the thoughts came that just cleared up the questions in my mind. And from that, I was like, oh, I get it. I understand. And I felt free and alive and invigorated. And I'm just having a great day. So like the next day I get up and I'm walking around this little town and just, doing my shopping and stuff like that. And as I'm coming back to the hotel, I turn off to go through this park that was next to our hotel, and I'm walking alongside these trees, and this big squirrel comes running out, runs right up to me and looks me straight in the eyes, and so I'm like, wow, there's a huge squirrel right in front of me. And I was like, but I'm happy. So I'm just like, hey buddy, how's it going? Right. And I just said hi to the squirrel. And the squirrel just moves forward and proceeds to crawl right up my body, right up my leg. And I'm like, all right, I don't quite know what to do with this. Like, it's pretty cool, but I've never had a squirrel crawl on me. I'll be honest. Like I don't, squirrels bite. I have no idea. Right. So I had that human moment, right, where I'm just like, whoa. And I kind of jumped back, and, the squirrel jumped off, and then I'm looking at it, just still trying to figure out what's happening, and all of a sudden these little squirrel buddies come out, and they're looking at me. Now there's 3 of them, and I'm like, you know what, thank you so much for this love and attention, but we'll walk away because I'm not quite ready to handle 3 squirrels. So as I turned around to walk away, there's a couple people on a bench, and they're just their eyes were just wide, and I'm like, is that a normal thing? And they're like, no. We don't usually see squirrels crawling up people. And I was like, okay.
Clint, newsflash, you're not normal.
I know,
Thank
right?
God you're not normal. But neither was, what is it, St. Francis de Assisi? Because wasn't he the one who attracted all the animals?
Oh, maybe. The St. Francis of Assisi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Maybe I've still got a lot to learn about that. I've heard some interesting stories, but I definitely want to study more in that space. Yeah.
Yeah. So I find that things like that will happen to you, to us, the more you continue to do this. When I go to the Huntington Central Park here or to the beach, oftentimes, people will walk their dogs off leash. They don't have them leashed. And it's so funny because so often you'll have these dogs that will make a beeline for me, and they're like my long lost friend. They haven't seen me in forever. And it's like, wow, we're finally getting back together again. And it's like, you see them all happy and excited running. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Yeah. And so then they come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, the owner will eventually catch up, they're like, I'm so sorry. He never does this. He usually always walks by my side, and apparently he really likes you, or she really likes you. And every time it happens, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I tell them, it's like, hello, buddy, I haven't seen you in forever. It's like, I kind of feel like they're a soul that is resurfacing, because it feels the energy is the same with all of the dogs. It doesn't matter if it's a little dog or a big dog.
Yeah.
And then I have birds sometimes I'll be at the beach, and they'll, if it's close to sunset, I have where they'll all sit all the way around me, which is the first time it happened. I thought, is the end of the world coming? Because they would look at me and they would look at the sunset, look at me. And I'm like, are you just kind of just hanging out here to like, because they positioned themselves where I was in the dead center. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I actually managed to take a couple of pictures a few times, but these things keep on happening, and it becomes evident that it's the only reason it's happening is because you are in heart and brain coherence, which I think is just an encouragement to keep. There's so many benefits that come from doing this work.
Yeah, and that to me, I think, was the beauty of it, right? And so it's where you start to really develop that relationship with source energy, right? And you realize that love, that universe, the divine, however you want to relate to it, it is aware of you, it does love you, it does interact with you, and it is there for your benefit. Because I was feeling amazing, and then to have that interaction just said, yeah, look, like even nature's comfortable around you right now. You know what I mean? Like, and so it is just very affirming. And I was very aware that, like, I've been walking around for over 40 years and I've never had anything like that happen. And, in this moment of feeling incredible, this incredible thing happens. And to me, it's not chance or happenstance. That is starting to just, release and become connected to it. Right. And for anyone who's asking or thinking, like, how does that happen? Just keep practicing.
Just keep doing it.
Keep doing it. It will, like, it wants to happen within you. All you got to do is keep showing up. I love that Dr. Joe says that you just keep showing up for yourself every day in any way that you can, however it works for you. Just keep showing up. Don't quit. Don't stop. And like, it will unfold in a perfect timing for you.
Yeah. So the first scroll that, presented itself to you, it's in heart, because animals are in heart and brain coherence. Mm-hmm. And so it recognized you because you were in that same vibration of that love space of heart and brain coherence. That's why it was safe. That's why, their brain said, "Ooh, I'm synchronizing with you." And it's like, "Oh, you're actually safe. You're not like the rest of the other humans here." It's like, right. You're like one of us. And so he's like, "Oh, but you're much bigger than us, but you're one of us." And so then it comes forward, and that little squirrel is sending out a signal to his other buddies. That's why the other two showed up going, "Wait a minute, there's a giant squirrel here." Yeah. And it's like, so that's why they showed up, because they have that, it's like they're Bluetooth to each other. And so that is an outward manifestation of an inward state of being. It's the whole as above, so below. So because you are in that heart-centered place, because you are in that love state, and you are in that synchronization, so then it's manifesting. The mirror is the 3D outside world is reflecting it back to you. It's giving you evidence of that, so that you have another confirmation. Yeah, so that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting to be, to be a man having gone through wartime experiences and all these kind of stuff, and then have these very Disney-like moments, where you're just like. Wow, like I saw this once on a cartoon, but it's real. Like and it's good to feel it. It's good to experience it.
Yeah. So, and then you can milk that experience, because that's a very wondrous experience. And now you can bring that into your meditation. It's like, I want more wondrous experiences like that. And then more wondrous experiences like that will actually happen, because that's the vibration that you're cultivating. So
yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I can't remember if you or I read the last one.
I don't know. Either way, you want me to start or?
Yeah, why don't you read this one?
All right. So the question says, is there a meditation I can do that would soothe my heart and my mind after a breakup from a 2.5-year relationship? Wow. That's, I definitely can relate to that want, right? That a deeply emotional relationship, sometimes even despite how long it is, it can be hard to be separated from, right? Whether it's 6 months, 2, 3, 5, and even 10 years. And sometimes the more time we have to build memories together, the more persistent that can be, right? If we don't allow ourselves to change the way we think about it. I think about my older brother, right, was with me my entire life. And, when he departed from us, right, there was a good period of time where it was any memory of him, brought back these feelings of sadness, right? And these feelings of pain. But he had been there my entire life. He was my older brother. So it was hard for me to remember anything without remembering him, right? So it really behooved me to change the way that I thought about those memories and I thought about those experiences, because I didn't want to forget my brother. I wasn't going to. It was going to, he's always going to be a significant part of my memories. So I had to allow myself to grow and think differently about that and remember him in that better way. So, if I were to dial that down, what are we looking for? It would be a meditation that would maybe either provide some distraction from the now moment, where maybe the absence of something is it might be triggering up some pain. So the Botex are very methodically guided meditation from beginning to end. So there's a lot of talking. So if your mind is typically wanting to wander, there's a lot of callbacks and cues, right? And this can really help you create focus. And if you can really commit yourself to that meditation and start to, to just say, I'm doing this meditation for an hour or whatever it is, 45 minutes, whatever when it is, the length is, but just give it your whole focus. And in giving that your whole focus, you're not giving your pain focus, right? And you're letting that, you're doing like Lillian said, and you're just creating some space between you and that, so that you can have that place to feel good and feel better. And from a good feeling place and from a better feeling place, you will then be able to perceive that situation that is behind you without as much pain, right? You don't want to always go back and focus on it, because if it's bringing a lot of pain and it's feeling a lot of pain, you want to just give yourself some space and try to get away from it. But ideally, all experiences that happen in our past, right, as we grow in our wisdom and we grow in our love, we're able to look back at them and start to see those things that were beneficial, those things that we can use as wisdom, those things that we can use to help us in our progress forward, because that's all that's important, is the progress forward. We're not going back and changing things. We're progressing forward by being present in the now moment and making the now moment as good as we can. And then that is what the future is built of, is 1,000 now moments that are yet to come. So, I would say, if you're looking for something specific, maybe go after the Botex, but truly, find that place where you can give yourself space and allow yourself to feel better in the now moment. And the more better feeling now moments you create, the easier that the passing from what existed into the newness of what now exists without that will feel.
Yeah, I totally agree with Clint, with 100% of everything that you said, Clint. And the Botec, start with Botec 1, that way, you start Botec 1. If you have the old version, it's 42 minutes and 10 seconds long. If you have the new one, it's an hour long. The bottom line is it's a great basic meditation. And if you get bored or tired of doing the same meditation after a month or 2 or 3, then buy Botec 2 and keep moving up till, they've got up to Botec 8 now. So I think I'd say bookends in the morning and at night, do that Botec. And then the other thing I would say is I do have a series on 5 steps on how to get over a breakup, which I actually had to do myself, because I had a 2.5-year relationship that went in 2019. And so, it was a bad breakup. And I don't know if there's such thing as a good breakup or an easy breakup, but that was a bad breakup. And so I didn't want to suffer. And so I'm intuitive. So I was literally guided to do certain steps. And then all these people that were around me about the same time were going through breakups too. So I ended up doing this video series, and people are finding a great deal of relief by just doing those 5 little simple steps. So you might want to check that out here on the YouTube channel. So the next one I guess I'll read is, if you are raised by this is a very common thing too. If you are raised by 2 very anxious, pessimistic parents who by nature are worried about everything. So in turn, I am by nature someone who tends to worry, be anxious, and actually find some sort of comfort when things are hard. Not comfort in a calm way, more in a neighborhood that I know how to navigate type of way. My question is, can this be changed? I work on it daily. I'm in my 50s and I meditate and try and practice self-care, but sometimes I wonder if it's possible to change your default settings. Well, yeah, our default settings can be changed. Thank goodness. We are very neuroplastic, so we can change, have whatever your state of being is, good or bad, can change. It's not static. So if you don't like the fact, I mean, a lot of people were raised by either one or two anxious, pessimistic parents. Not all parents are pessimistic. You know, some parents are very optimistic. You could be anxious and optimistic too, by the way. Don't think that just because, just because someone's optimistic, they can't be anxious. There are people who are very positive minded and still they're anxious and they tend to be worried, but you know, they come across as very, you know, the sunny side of things and very optimistic and very more upbeat. So you're describing your parents as two very anxious, pessimistic parents by nature who worry about everything. So you tend to worry. So the fact that you're aware that they have been anxious and pessimistic is apparently bringing you to the awareness that you are also anxious and pessimistic. And that's something that you want to change about yourself. So the good news is, hooray, yes, you won the lotto, because you can change anything and all things about yourself. And every single day is a brand new day and an opportunity for you to be a brand new you. All you need to do is to choose how it is, you know, what is it? What's the target? You know, we talked about the formula earlier today. On my YouTube channel and in the Intuition Manifesto Masterclasses, we talk about SPEC, which is an acronym for SPEC. So select your target, project whatever thoughts, feelings, and emotions you would have in the moment that you have realized or you are in receipt of that target. And then E, you're going to expect to create and manifest, in this case, the new you, the you that is very calm, very optimistic, very joyous, and very clear and free with your life and how you're being. And then C is collect it. So that would mean that, you know, you're probably thinking, well, how do I collect the new state of being of myself? You just choose to collect it by embracing and telling yourself, I would write this, what you wrote here, two very anxious, pessimistic parents. So I am by nature someone who tends to worry, be anxious. So write this in a positive towards yourself. So you are no longer an anxious, pessimistic person. You are an upbeat, joyous, energetic, optimistic person that has clarity and certainty, as an example. And it's like the moment you think, oh, well, I'm just anxious and pessimistic like my parents. Nope. You go cancel, or change. Go change. You might even want to find a mirror around you and look in the mirror, look at yourself, preferably your left eye, and go, nope, that's how I used to be, but that's not how I choose to be anymore. You know, the new me is, I'm upbeat, positive, I'm optimistic, I'm energetic, I have certainty and clarity, and that is my new nature. And then you might need to repeat, I'm a big proponent of writing things down and having visual cues. There's something about you physically writing things down and then reading those things and then hearing yourself say those things out loud. So take an eyeliner, you know, if you're a guy and you don't have a wife or a girlfriend with eyeliner, then just go to the 99-cent store, go to the makeup section and find a black or a brown eyeliner. Take it to your bathroom and your whatever mirror you might have or window in your bedroom, and then just write that affirmation down so that you see it every day. When you go to brush your teeth, while you're brushing your teeth, you're going to be staring at this affirmation that says, I'm a happy, upbeat, positive, and optimistic person who has clarity and certainty and high energy. And now you start to recondition your body to a new mind. And the quickest way to do this is to incorporate meditation, of course, because that's going to be your target, your clear intention added with an elevated emotion of love, appreciation, and gratitude, right? Yep. So as you're doing that, your clear intention is to be this positive person, and you're going to feel gratitude and appreciation, knowing that you're this positive, optimistic, clear, and you're just clear about who you are, what you are, and now you've changed yourself into a positive state of being. And then do something with your body physiology. That's one of the things that I think the PSMO is helpful, because neurologically, you're doing a whole bunch of stuff in just 3 minutes. So it will get rid of your anxiousness, your pessimism, your negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It'll literally wipe out the negative emotions from your right and left hemisphere of your brain and cross over your energies and give you an energetic boost, alkalize your body, and give you a lymphatic flush all in one, just with the PSMO method. So that's what I would recommend for that. And the good news is that, yes, it is possible. It's possible and probable. And the biggest determining factor of how successful you'll be in that is you just have to decide. You choose it. I'm like, okay, I choose this. I want this. It's no different than you going to the supermarket. You're walking in and you're like, ooh, they have those blueberries for $7.99, and they got carrot juice over there. I want that. I want that. And you're picking it. You pick it, you put it in your basket. You're not, should I, could I, would I, should. No, I see those blueberries. I want them. Done. You put it in your cart. Take the carrot juice, put it in your cart. You go to the register, you pay for it. Done deal. It's yours. So you have to claim it. You have to give yourself permission to want what you want and know that it is in fact possible. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, if I can, Lillian, for whoever asked this question, there's a statement in there that says, where it says, and I actually find that some sort of comfort when things are hard. My brother and I were both kind of raised in high intensity situations, and we had remarked, this is almost a decade ago, about, how sometimes we felt calm in chaos. Like we felt like, almost there was a peace in the crisis, and really, and we used to kind of joke about it. Neither one of us really liked it or felt that it was probably a fantastic thing, because we're like, we don't want to always be in crisis mode. But what would happen is we had stayed in that state of mind so long that we felt a sense of comfort there, because it was familiar. It was that familiar past, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I love what you said. I think whoever wrote this, when they wrote, my question is, can this be changed? And that moment is when the change occurred, right? And when you start to reach out, when you're going, wait a second, is there something else out there? Yeah, the answer is yes, 100%. And you're already starting to find it and find your pathway to it. So you put your question out here, the answers come back, it is part of that pathway. Sometimes it starts with just that decision to ask yourself, is there something more? I know, as far as like, for me, if it is that calm centeredness in crisis that you're experiencing, as I started to come out of worry and all those kind of things, that sometimes there's a lot of energies there at work, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing I would practice was the feeling of sure. I loved the word sure. I like to be sure of myself. Mm-hmm. I like to be certain things are going to happen. I like to be sure. I like to feel comfortable. I like to feel safe, right? And that made progress, but there were other aspects, right? And so worry can really just catch on to so many different things and intensify that vibration, because you're most likely a high energy and very actively minded. So everything Lillian's saying, right? The exercise, the breath, calm yourself down. I go for lots of walks. If I feel a lot of nervous energy, I'm like, all right. And I just go outside if I got the time and take a nice walk or do something. If you're at work or you don't have that space, use a breathing technique, use something, but basically create that space for yourself to let that energy kind of just come out in a positive way. And then, and refocus. And I would say that 100%, even speaking from my own personal experience, I 100% agree. You can change your default state.
Yeah. The last thing for the person who wrote this, I would also encourage you, if whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the rebroadcast, I want to encourage you, really, really encourage you. I mean, you can do whatever you want, of course, but I think you would stand to benefit a great deal if you were to watch the 5-part series that we did just a month ago on the grid work that Clint shared, because it's a simple, fun game-like process. And you're basically taking your meditation level. There's the formal meditation that you're doing by doing, let's say, a Bowtech meditation. And now you're upping it in your layer. It's like, layers of an onion. You're becoming a more advanced meditator because now you're doing a written meditation and you already have set your clear intention of wanting to be this high energy, optimistic, positive minded, vibrant person that has clarity and certainty, right? And so now you're taking pen to paper. If I were to break down the neurophysiology that's going on and what the neuroplasticity is doing to the neuronal axons in your brain, people would probably be blown away with, if we were to just measure the amount of energy that you are putting into effect that's actually moving through your body and through your brain, just through that seemingly simple written meditation. I think most of you would like fall out of your chairs going, no way, that doesn't seem like it's humanly possible. And that's exactly what's happening by you doing that written meditation of that grid work, whether you choose 4 words, 6 words, 8 words, 9 words, 15 words, whatever multiple of 3s or 5s, because you have flexibility and the number of words that you get to choose. But you're literally programming your mind and doing it at multiple levels, which is why it works so effectively. And as you watch that 5-week grid work series and you start to do the grid work yourself, and don't, if you miss a day or 2, it doesn't matter. The thing is, you're doing it more often than not. And as you're doing it, as you start to notice, I'll never forget the reaction that Tony had after the first week of doing the grid work during that series. He was like beaming with joy. He's like, oh my gosh, he felt so miraculously better. It was such a drastic change. And I've been blessed to see the difference of Tony before and after. Clint, I've just known you since January, since we met at the Cancun week-long. But during that 5-week series, you shared with us, you peeled back that curtain and showed us, it's like what your life was like 10, 15 years ago. And you are like, it's like Heckle and Jekyll. It's like night and day. You went from someone who was very down, negative, very, very angry, very depressed, to someone who's so joyant, joyant. That's not even a word. Trying to say joyant and jubilous at the same time. That's joyant.
I like it.
So yeah, you're so joyous and you're so jubilant and you're so enthusiastic and you have such a big heart. You're so open-hearted and you've got such great energy that it's hard to fathom that you went from those deep depths of despair, pushing in 14 little pills in a pill box, and then struggling with, PTSD and all the horrid things that you must have seen when you were in war as a soldier, and then to lose your brother who is also doing the pill thing. What a horrid thing to have to experience, to go from that and then to go all the way. It's like it's a radical change in life. And I think most people think it's like, well, wow, it's going to take 10 years. I go, well, no, it doesn't really take 10 years. Because if you watch that 5-week series, you'll see how Tony I think it was only 1 or 2 grids that he did, or maybe it was a week worth of grids. I don't really remember the specifics, but I remember him coming back going, oh my gosh, this thing works. But what you are doing for your benefit, you are literally writing down, programming with those words that you have targeted, that your subconscious mind has says, I want to feel happiness. I want to feel joy. I want to feel laughter. I want to feel fun. I want to feel sure. I want to feel excitement. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel ecstatic.
Yeah.
I want to feel courageous. You get to pick those words. If you have trouble picking up words and maybe your subconscious doesn't want to tee up any words, Google search positive, positive nouns, positive adjectives, positive verbs. It doesn't matter. But then write those words down and pay attention to how it is that you feel. And then as you focus on what does it mean to feel happy? And as you go through each one of those words, you cannot, it's a written meditation. it's impossible for you to not benefit from it, my friend. So we are here to encourage you. We're here all as your cheerleaders. We're each other's cheerleaders. I'm here to cheerlead Clint and Terry and Michael and Sylvia and Lauren and Rena and Joe. We are each other's cheerleaders. We are here for each other. So go for it. Do it. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. And it's on the YouTube channel here, free for you. So enjoy and play, make it fun. You might even want to do this. Maybe you have a friend, maybe your best friend or another friend of yours. Maybe you're like, you know what? Yeah, everybody has issues with their family. So it's like, find another friend. It's like, let's do these. I heard this thing about this grid work. Why don't we, to make each other accountable, why don't we share each other's grid? We'll come together either every night or every morning, every lunchtime, whatever you pick. And we're just going to make it into this fun game. And if you watch there, you can start off like I started off with a regular pen, and then I graduated to a more fancier brush pen. I don't even know what inspired me to do that, but I must say that it has encouraged me to do my grid work more often because I like the way it looks so pretty.
Yeah.
It's practice. So you do this. This is your meditation. This is you knowing yourself. And before you know it, you are going to have a life experience. If you set that intention and that's your desire and you want every day to feel like Christmas to you, then watch out, because you know what? I never even would have thought as positive as I thought I was before. I didn't think that I could feel like it was Christmas every day. And I can honestly tell you that people who are in my closer sphere of influence have heard me say, I feel like every day is like Christmas. I really do. That's why that Christmas tree is still up. I love Christmas, but I feel like every day is, it's what, May 2nd? May 2nd. And I still have my Christmas tree up. I love the purple light, but the honest to God truth, as God literally is my witness, I really feel like every day is like Christmas. I have so much positive feedback from not only my private clients, but from individuals like you guys. I get so much joy from doing this cooperation here with my beautiful genius mystic healer, Clint, that, you know what, you can experience this too. And I got to tell you, I was sucking wind 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. It took me 6 freaking years to get divorced. I thought it was going to take me 6 months and a day. It took me 6 years. Not fun, super painful, super expensive, super traumatic. And I was able to go from that to where I am here. And it didn't have to take 10 years. So you will feel better sooner rather than later. You just need to turn the other cheek. On the left, the view's not so good. So I'm like, I'm going to choose to turn the other cheek, and I'm just going to choose to do this. Okay. So we're going to answer the next 3. We have 3 more questions, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Okay.
And the next one, I'll read the next one, and then you could read the following one. So this one is a fairly simple one, but this person's asking, geniuses, do you meditate when you have a fever, especially if you are meditating for healing purposes? I would say if you are under the weather, if you are full-blown sick, or if you've had any kind of physical trauma because you've had some sort of injury, that's when you have to meditate even more, because your body is in greater need of being alkalized. Your body is in greater need for you to use your free will to choose to focus your conscious mind so that you can signal your brain to balance it so that you can expedite. Instead of having the normal schedule of healing, you want to quantum leap that so that the time frame, so that you have exponential healing going on. So all the more reason to meditate. You want to meditate more often and longer. So you might even want to do 2 meditations back to back. And trust me, when you do that, you will knock a fever out. You will heal a lot quicker, just because it's impossible for you not to. The neurophysiology, if we were to do, and there are there are some, usually there's lots of papers on the benefits and the effects of meditation. I am still looking for a research paper that does like a forensic analysis of kind of like the architecture of meditation on the human body. I haven't seen that yet, probably because there's no money to be gained from it. That's probably why they haven't done it. But any neuroscientist that's worth their salt, that's not a difficult thing. It's a little cumbersome to write everything out. It's not a very difficult thing to do. Bottom line, yes. You can always benefit from meditating more. And end of story.
Yeah.
Why don't you read the next one?
Yeah. Okay. So, no, and I love that. I was really thinking on that question a lot too. And I agree. I think, it is definitely just a very healthy exercise. So the next question says, I wonder if someone could explain to me what it means to become nothing. Dr. Joe says it in many meditations, become no one, no time, no thing. I'm trying, but I don't understand quite well. Thank you. So, when I'm reading this, right, what is it that we're talking about right there? And there's, meditation as we've discussed is a lot of different things. It's not just one thing that only works one way for one purpose, one method only. There's many things that can occur in meditation. So, one of the things when we think about becoming nothing, there's two elements I want to address quickly in this is one is the release of an identity, right? The release of who are you? When we're thinking about ourselves in our now moment, we're focused on maybe the blessings of the energy center. We're very focused on the presence of something. And even though we're feeling it in the now moment, which is good because we're not thinking about yesterday and we're not thinking about tomorrow, that's the no time, right? So that's that losing that sense of what's behind us and in front of us, right? But there's still a thing. We're thinking about a thing. So what if you want to become that no thing, right? So what for me, and when I've experienced that true kind of, that plane of nothingness, which is interesting because as you experience it, you realize it's not a plane of nothing, it's a plane of everythingness. But you have to let go. You have to become none of this kind of perceived conscious reality that we're in now. So, releasing the idea of, where do you need to be 2 hours from now? Where do you have to go tomorrow? What makes you mad? What makes you happy, right? All of these little things that come in your mind as you kind of let go of those and focusing on that body and learning how to hold that focus can let you get there. But it's really just a gentle relaxing of conditions, right? So as those thoughts come, you go, you know what, that's okay, I'm meditating. And if you listen, Dr. Joe and a lot of his lectures will say things like this, right? Go, no body, this is what I'm doing right now. I'll take care of you later, right? Because you're allowing yourself to say, you know what, I am the consciousness in control of this body, and the consciousness in control of this body is not defined by the body. The consciousness defines the body, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's like I told my daughter when she was asking, about zodiac signs, what is a Libra? And I'm like, well, you got red hair. She's like, yeah. And I got blue eyes. And she's like, yeah. And I go, well, then Libras have red hair and blue eyes because you define it. The category doesn't define you. And so it's kind of the same thing with the identities, is you want to let the consciousness define the space and not the space define the consciousness. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful and wonderful explanation, Clint. So thank you for being so thorough with that. The last question, and then we'll be done for tonight, is which energy center needs to be cleared? I have been enabling and allowing my husband to disregard my family and friends, and I always spend all time required with his. I am now just tired of it, and since meditating, starting to see personality traits within him that is not attractive. I'm a slow learner, 45 years, cancel, and just learning this about him. I really need to meditate on the correct program to make permanent changes within myself. Help. So I would direct you to, at the very first question that we had here, this is a similar issue because it has to do with family and family systems and a husband and his family and so forth. So the first thing I would say is have a clear intention. And let's go back to, if you look at that one, you're going to want to apply the formula and you're going to set the clear intention, disregard the state of being in which you have the unwanted, but you can actually take a card or a piece of paper and actually write down everything that you don't like about the current situation as you've described it to us. And then turn that into reverse it and make it the way you would like it to be. So all the things that you like about your spouse, as well as their family and all these things. And now, so frame it in the positive, because that's going to be your target, your clear intention. That's your dream, right? And then you're going to apply the formula, and your intention is that when you go into meditation, you're going to ask the divine to give you clarity and certainty and to show you evidence of this, show you evidence of this manifesting in 3D and show you that you're on the right track. The number one thing I will tell you, and I would say this to everyone, not just the person who wrote this question, but in anything and all the things that we manifest and that we do, we all have free will. So, I am the way that I am, and I got to tell you, as much as I would, there are certain things about myself that I would like to change. It's not that easy for me to change those things about myself. And really, no one has the right to impose upon me any change or to require it, of me. I mean, if God doesn't require it, if God has given me free will to be as I am, then no one really has the right or has the authority to require me to be any different. So the same thing is true for us when it comes to others. We can't really override somebody else's free will. Now, you can want to have a spouse who is loving and thoughtful and maybe more open. But one of the things that I'm gonna just call an attention here, because it says here, you asked which energy center needs to be cleared. Well, I could give you two answers. One, it depends. Two, the better answer is they all need to be cleared. I would say everyone can benefit from clearing all of their energy centers. So the blessing of the energy centers meditation, which is why Dr. Joe did the blessing of the energies meditation centers to begin with, is because it's such a comprehensive, such a valuable meditation for every human being. So the blessing of the energy centers would be the first thing, and you want to clear all of your energy centers. And if you're watching this broadcast, then you already know about the significance of, as you're doing the blessing of the energy centers, you choose to have an open heart. Nothing happens inside a closed heart. Nothing. You can't heal. You can't heal yourself. You can't create. You can't manifest. You're on lockdown because you have a closed heart. Once you choose to open your heart, that's where all the magic can happen. So as you open your heart, you have heart and brain coherence now. Now that's where all the magic begins. And you start to feel, sense, sound, and just have a knowingness of all sorts of things that there's really no way for you to explain other than you're receiving that intuitive hit. You're receiving those downloads. You're receiving that sense of knowing. So this part where you talk about you've been enabling and allowing your husband to disregard your family and friends and always spend time with, well, it sounds like you've given away your power to your spouse here. So that's a dynamic that the only thing you can change is yourself. So as you change and you get to know yourself better and you're able to identify your ego and you're able to tame your ego, then guess what? You're going to notice that people around you, close, that are the closest to you and the people that are not so close, all the people in your environment are going to start to react differently because you are acting differently. So some people will stop engaging with you. Some people will just, some people disappear. Some people will just show up differently where they're nicer to you. Part of you knowing yourself and knowing your boundaries and keeping your own power and not giving your power away to other people. Because when we give our power away, we do it in ignorance. No one gives their power away on purpose. Part of it is bad conditioning where we didn't know we were giving our power away. But once we become aware that we've been giving our power away, it's like, wait a minute. So why would I be enabling my husband to disregard my family? My family is, I'm like, first of all, I love myself. my family, but they may not be perfect, but they're pretty awesome. And I'm sure as heck not going to put my family below somebody else's family. At the very least, they're the same. They may not be identical in traditions and behaviors and all sorts of things, but as human beings, they're both as worthy. They're worthy, they're enough, and they're lovable. Okay. So give yourself, you cannot give your family value if you don't value yourself. So, and in order to be empowered with recognizing the full love that you truly are, you have to accept, receive, and embrace the love that you are, the love that you are here to receive and to give. And if you can do that, then you can also love your family and hold your family in high regard and give them the honor and respect that they deserve, which means that they're on equal footing with your spouse's family. And it's up to you and him to negotiate the time that is spent between the two, not making one more or less valuable than the other, but both of those families are you. You are subsets, if you will, of those families. So you have your own core family, and now you have your extended family. And you're saying here, I'm now just tired of it. And since meditating, you're having certain awarenesses what's happening right now in meditation. You're tired of it. Yeah, no one can exist over a sustained period of time without resenting the fact that they're giving their power away to somebody else and someone else is taking advantage of that. You cannot be okay with that over the long term because you're not designed to lose your freedom. You have lost. That's where people oftentimes will say, well, it's like I lost myself. And once the awareness is the beginning to all change. So now you can take back your power, and you're as you do it more and more, a little bit at a time, then you'll get stronger. You'll start to learn. It's like, you know what? No is an entire answer. You don't need to say no because, maybe he wants you to go spend every Friday, Saturday, Sunday at his family's house. I don't know what the circumstances are. I'm just throwing an example. I'm making things up at this point. But let's say that every weekend he requires you to be at his family's house Friday night, all day Saturday, Sunday, because it's a weekend and there's no time left for your family. You are well within your right as a human being because you are worthy of the respect. If you decide to say no, you don't need to say no because whatever goes after because. Or you could just say no because I say no. No, it's a perfectly good respect, just like he has the prerogative to say no too. And you have to respect that, And so learning to love yourself, to stand up for yourself. If you don't love yourself enough to stand up for yourself, to own your own power and to know what your appropriate boundaries are, what is and what isn't acceptable, because you ultimately are responsible for the energy that you show up when you show up anywhere, whether it's your house or any place in public or at a family gathering or social, wherever it is you show up, you are responsible for the energy that you show up with. And you're also responsible for the energy that you allow into your space. If you allow an abusive energy to come into your space and you don't say, wait a minute here, no, take a step back. You are encroaching on my space. This is a little too close for comfort. You're telling the universe, it's like, people can do with me whatever it is that they want. So you're going to keep on getting characters like that, different faces, different places that show up like that. So, but if you start to go, you know what? I don't need to wait for somebody to say, hey, to come and rescue you. You're like, you know what? I'm worthy. It's like, wait a minute. No. Take a step back, buddy. You're getting a little too close. If they are ballsy enough, pardon my French, to step into your space and not respect your boundary, then you need to be ballsy enough to say, wait a minute. If you're a mama and you're with your kid and that person is stepping into your space, potentially now, oh my gosh, they can harm not only you, but they could harm your baby. Well, there isn't anything a mama bear won't do. It's like, wait a minute, maybe I might accept this for me, but you know what? Now my child's, being threatened. Maybe who knows what you're going to do? I don't think so. Boom, you better take a step back and be careful what I might do next. No one can do that for you. Right. Now, guess what? The universe is going to go, oh, wait a minute. She knows what her boundaries are. She knows how to put people in their place. People shouldn't have to be put in their place, but every now and then there are people who don't respect other people's boundaries, and they look for those who have no boundaries so that they can do whatever it is that they want. And if that's acceptable to you, then more and more of that is going to happen. But if you decide, you know what, that's what's going on today, and that's what's going on in the past, and I'm just sick and tired of that. I don't want this anymore. Great. This could be the first day, the rest of your life. Tomorrow morning is a brand new day. You get a new restart every morning when you wake up. And this Friday, you might just say, nope, I'm not. This weekend, in fact, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's like, no, I'm not going to go, period. Oh, why not? Because I don't want to. End of story. That's it. And it's like, oh, he can flap at the lips. He might get mad. He might pout. He might slam a door. Not your problem. You know, if he decides to act like a giant toddler having a temper tantrum, that's no reflection on you. That's a reflection on that person, whether it's him or anybody else. It could be a boss. It could be a neighbor. You're not responsible for other people's feelings. So I don't know if you want to add anything else to this. We could spend an hour just on this.
Yeah, no, not much. I think you really, I love what you're saying, right? And really just owning your space. I love that, you're responsible for the emotion you allow yourself to project, and also responsible for what you subject yourself to. This is true. And some situations are easier to get space from than there are others. But you're only responsible for how you feel, not how the other person feels, right? And the thing of it is, there is that kind of, just touching back briefly on that no one, no time, no thing, that release of identity is, we have a tendency in relationships to want to try to build up expectations for how each other should behave. And we will try to harmonize those. And sometimes they get unbalanced because both people in that are not adding equally to that harmony and establishment. And if what you're feeling is that you've been adding to it and you weren't getting that back, well, you just let that go, right? There's nothing wrong. Maybe if that's where he wants to be and he's happy, I'll let him go there and be happy. But to Lillian's point, do you be happiness and find your happiness, because in your happiness and your success and your love and the brilliance of life coming through you, even if you're interacting on that side less, all your interactions will be better, right? And you'll be bringing more to them, right? So, it's just taking care of yourself and loving yourself and being brave and bold enough to know you're worthy to love yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the number, the number. I've realized that love is the answer. And that's the only reason why we came to this planet in human form. It's like, we're supposed to learn this lesson of not just the unconditional love, but to really be in our heart space and to really allow the true you, which is just all loving, that would never think anything negative about yourself, to come forth and then to be that expression in human form, and to learn to give and to receive love. Because if you're just here giving love and not getting, you know what? The universe has been created to automatically create balance. So if something is out of balance, that is the state of dis-ease. So it's going to try and offset things to make up for the fact that everything is outgo. There's an emotional constipation, energetic constipation that's going on, because if you can only give love and you've got a blockage with receiving, there's an emotional constipation. The same thing is true. If you just can receive love and you can't give it, you got an emotional constipation. It's emotional and it's an energetic constipation. And make no mistakes, that will create disease in your body, without a shadow of a doubt. Once you recognize that, because that is the biggest secret of them all, is in order to create healing of any sort, of any kind, of anything. We're talking including growing bone, repairing spinal cords. We're talking cancers, you name it. The key is you have to have an open heart. And the only way you're going to have an open heart is if you are open enough to give and to receive love. Once you do that, game over, because that's the biggest miracle of them all. The number one factor to open your heart is you have to use your free will to choose it. That's the big miracle. The little miracle is the healing of the body, the healing of the relate. All the other stuff is little, they're little miracles. Everybody thinks those are the big miracles. No, the biggest miracle of them all is when a human being decides, okay, I'm just sick and tired of these circumstances of I'm always on the short end of the stick. I'm always having to do, be subject, whatever the pain point and complaint is, doesn't matter. If you can now choose to open your heart, get into that heart and brain coherent state, then the biggest miracle is that you chose to open your heart. Everything else falls into place.
Absolutely.
Well, it is 10:11, the longest meditation secrets class I think we've done to date. We had a lot
of questions. It's good.
Yeah, we had a lot of great questions. So thank you everybody for tuning in, tapping in, turning on. Any further questions that you might have, go ahead, put them in the Meditation Secrets group. You also have the Meditation Secrets Messenger group. And then Clint will be hosting this for the whole month of Monday. I will miss you guys while I'm there. I love and adore you guys all from all areas of the earth that you guys chimed in tonight. Thank you so much. Clint, we're color coordinated. We didn't even tell each other. It's like we're the same vibe.
I was noticing that. I was like, wow. Oh, that's very cool. And thank you so much. I'm really happy for you and honored to be asked to take over on Mondays for the next few weeks and stuff. So glad to do it. We know you're going to be out there having a good time and loving life and filling up all your coffers of love and joy and happiness, and excited for you to come back and share that with us in the future.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, as always, I got to give a little plug. If you haven't gotten your copy yet of Intuition Manifesto, please do get a copy. It is the quickest way for you to increase your intuition. Clint read his. He said I was so flattered when he said it's the eat, pray, love of intuition. I was like, oh my gosh, my heart was beaming when I heard him say that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But seriously, the feedback we're getting is amazing. And my hope is that you would also get a boost in your intuition and you start to unlock the gateway of your dreams, and you just start to live your most heart-centered, open, love-filling life so that every day feels like Christmas for you too. Okay? All right. Ciao for now, my friends and gems.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. You can unmute yourselves. Everybody say bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you, Lillian and Clint.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Love you all.
Everybody, bye-bye.
Love you too.
Bye.
Love you too. Bye.